the event and the lectures will be presented in English. It is my pleasure to invite Studio Prasklo. The two founders of the studio are here. Petra, I'm just very hesitant to pronounce your last names, Svejdarova and Klara Vaculikova. Okay. They are working in the field of maybe upcycling old or discarded more glass particles or parts from the industrial process and turning them into really beautiful statement pieces for the interior. They're here to tell us their story. Thankful for your participation in the project.
Thank you very much. Good evening. We are Prasklo, and I think Klara has better English than me, and we will
tell our story.
Yes,
short story. So first of all, you might have sit. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting us, for having us on mind. We are very happy we could join this event here in beautiful Gabrovo, and we also heard what other Czech designers were here or at this event in the previous years, so we are very honored to be the next ones, because the previous names were people we have big respect to. So just let me quickly see how this works. Like this. So let me introduce the team, which already basically happened. The thing is, it's just the two of us, me and Petra. The core of Prasklo is Petra, and Petra is doing all the creations. So basically, it's Petra, it's the creator. I joined Prasklo a little bit later. I met Petra, I liked the work, and I wanted to photograph it as a photographer. And we found out that I may have some manager skills that she doesn't have, so I sort of became a photographer for Prasklo and sort of like a brand manager. And also I contribute when we think about concept, new ideas, so we sort of think about it together. But the hands that are creating Prasklo are always these hands, so just to be clear.
you are director.
No, I'm not. So we have a studio. We are based in Prague, in Czech Republic. We have a small studio there. What we do is, maybe we should apologize in advance that it may be that we are actually not designers. In the beginning, we were invited to different design events, and people were saying, "Oh, Prasklo design," and so we accepted it. Okay, it's design. But when you think about it a little bit more, we realize designer in our understanding is person who is sitting at the computer and designing industrial things, and then somebody else in a factory is making it in a mass production. So this is not Prasklo. Prasklo is maybe a little bit more of art in a way, because basically Petra is creating each thing as an individual piece, and there is no mass production, never. Maybe in the future, we'll see. We have some different projects, but for now it's really just like individual pieces. So there is not many pieces, and you would not see us in a store. It's like a lot of Prasklo things. It's not a mass production. So just to understand, and also a little bit apologize to real designers who are really designing at the computer and doing this sophisticated sketches. We are not doing that. And yeah, as I already a little bit mentioned, it is all handmade. So in our Prague studio, by the way, if any one of you come to Prague, please let us know and you can come visit. We have open door, and we are always happy to welcome visitors, even just to have a look. It's a little bit messy. There is a lot of dust and glass, but I think people usually enjoy visiting us. So what it is, Prasklo? It is sustainable, but not the initial idea was not to do something sustainable. It happened that Petra loves glass and everything sparkling, crystal, and as you may know, Czech Republic is famous for crystal, and Petra just likes to collect old bottles, even like very, very ordinary bottles. When we walk on the street and there is a bin, glass bin, sometimes Petra just doesn't listen to what I'm saying and she just goes to the bin. Oh, look at this bottle, it's so beautiful. And so she started to have a lot of glasses, bottles home, and then she was thinking what to do with it. And so she started to connect it with concrete and create vases. So Prasklo, it's basically old glass, bottles, Bohemian crystal, that Petra sort of modifies. Usually she cracks it and she works with it, and then she puts it in a concrete. So there is like the idea, it might be waste to someone, but it's a piece of beauty to Petra, so she likes to put it on this concrete pedestal and like present it as something beautiful. I personally liked it very much, and that's why I found her and asked her, or we happened to cooperate together. And yes, let me just jump on the next slide. Yeah. And this is a little bit of the studio. As you can see, there is a lot of beautiful bottles and beautiful waste. That's just before it gets used, so it gets messy. And this is what happens after, when it gets connected with the concrete. It's most of the cases it's vases, but not only. We also started recently to do more like objects, like the conceptual things, but you may see it later. Also another interesting thing is when we talk about sustainability, it's the concrete we use. We recently started to cooperate with the building company Skanska, and they offered us that we can use their concrete that's actually recycled concrete. So what it is they normally for concrete you need a lot of stones and a sand, and the planet is a little bit running out of these materials. So there is this patent, and it's a Czech developed technology. It is irrelevant. It's a technology where instead of sand or stone, they use like old buildings that they shred into like a sand, and so we had the chance to use this recycled concrete. So we are quite excited about it because it's not just the recycled glass. And the other thing is that this concrete has a special story because there's like old buildings basically imprinted in it. Yes, just a little bit of boring history. Prasklo basically was defined by sometime in 2016 when it participated in Czech Design Week. That was still without me, and it was very successful. The Petra got at that time very good feedback. And then in 2019 we started to get a little bit more active. We participated in the Prague Design Week. The Prasklo was nominated for the best product by the visitors. And just let me see. Then 2020 there was we get very nice opportunity to present Prasklo at the International Design Fair in Frankfurt, at the Ambient Design Fair, where we were invited as in the section Talents, so it was sort of like sponsored, and we got very nice feedback over there. There was like a Tokyo studio that purchased quite a lot of Prasklo vases, and they are selling it in what we heard supposed to be very, very acknowledged design gallery shop in Tokyo. We got new partners also in Berlin after this, and unfortunately just after that started the COVID period, so we got a little bit stuck and could not use this momentum, but it definitely helped us to be a little bit more self-confident and define our ambitions to go international. After that, we also presented us in another Czech Design Week last year, Design Block, which is like a event in, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, in Frankfurt. That was very big honor for us. Prasklo was selected by the curators. The 3 vases, Prasklo vases, were selected for the collections Trends 2020, which was very limited collection of design pieces, which were like determining for the design trends in that year. And so we got 3 vases over there. So it was really, we were very, very proud of ourselves. That's from the collection, from the exhibition that happened there. And last year we also attended International Glass Symposium in the Czech Republic. This year it's sustainability in design and fashion in Gabrovo. Thank you very much. And we look forward to join Czech Design Week again, and then we go to Vienna in October. So just that you have the idea what sort of activities we have. This is also the slide you see now. It's the beautiful outcome from the Ambiente Frankfurt Design Fair, where we actually got into design magazines. In this one is in Canada, in Korea. So we had like a special page dedicated to Prasklo that was just like very amazing for us. And this is from a Japanese. This is from a Japanese magazine. Prasklo is on the right side. On the left side, it's not Prasklo, but we are very proud of that. I would like to mention a few words about our partners because those are very important for us. As we said, for us the key is the recycled glass, but we also we cooperate a lot with the glassworks. This is Preciosa, one of the very famous, world famous Bohemian crystal producer, and they connected us with they connected with us already some years ago that they would like to cooperate, and they offered us that we can use their waste material, their waste crystal. That's what we're doing. But for the last year, they also came with the idea that if we want, we can design something special, and they will basically do the crystal for us. So this is the image from that project where they are creating special piece for us. So Preciosa obviously is one of our most important partners because they are supplying us with a very, let's say, inspiring glass. Because for Petra it's very important to work with the interesting glass, and she gets inspired by the glass. It's usually the first moment of the creation that she gets some glass into her hands and she thinks about it and she gets the idea, she gets inspired, and then it basically evolves from there. So we need to have good quality partners. And talking about good quality, we also are very proud that we have a regular cooperation with Martin Janecki. I don't know if you know the name, but he's one of the very top glass artists in the world. He happens to be from Prague as well, and he's super cool and super famous. And so we are very excited that he works for us, basically, and he is doing some crystal pieces for us every year for MasterCard awards, because MasterCard asked us if we can create awards that they are then giving to the banks. Yes. And so yeah, so Martin is very cool. I put his picture there again because he's very famous, and I think in the eyes of every designer who knows a little bit about glass, he's like a superstar. Yeah. Okay. So just continue a little bit. Partners this year we had very interesting project. Again, it came from Adidas. They came to us that they would like to make a project with us. That they want to launch new tennis shoes. I have Adidas shoes. They gave us the shoes later. They want to launch new shoes. These are not the new shoes. They wanted to launch new Adidas shoes, and they wanted to connect it with doing a minimalistic design show. And they asked a few Czech designers if they can do special art piece for this occasion. And so again, we were very proud that they also asked us. and this is the outcome. We did this work, which was first time very conceptual. It was not a vase at all. It's not something that has industrial use. It's just like a conceptual piece, which we called Compass, and it means the compass of everyone. And in this case, we thought about the artists who have to have the inside direction clear where they want to go, and not to go with the pressures that all the time you have pressures to be this trend, that trend, or do it this way, that way. So you have to just have your own inside clear vision that you follow, and this compass is sort of the thing that represents this. So Adidas was happy, we were happy, and we got shoes. Yay! And then also very important for us are galleries. We cooperate with few galleries. GASP, that's a gallery of the Central Bohemia region. It's a very beautiful gallery in the town Kutná Hora in Czech Republic. If you happen to go to Prague, make a short trip to Kutná Hora. It's a very, very beautiful small town. It's not as touristic as Prague. It's also not as expensive. And the gallery is really like one of the nicest galleries in the Czech Republic, for sure. They have a great curators, and it's always a pleasure to go to the gallery. So they are also selling Prasklo, which we are very happy. And then the other picture is from Artiseme. That's like a gallery shop in Prague city center. There are also others I don't have pictures from, but Kunsthalle is a beautiful art place in Prague. It's quite new. It was opened a few months ago, and we were very happy. They just came to us themselves alone and asked us, "Hey, we would like to sell Prasklo." So they are again very, very honored, and yeah. So that's just a few partners, because that make you see what sort of things we are doing. Seeing all our partners, the collaborations we usually have, we don't really sell. We don't sell at all any, like we don't deliver like 100 pieces there or 100 pieces over there. It's all individual pieces. And we have an air shop, which we had to create when there was the pandemic, because of course all the sales were stopped or shops were closed. So in order to survive, we create a website and an air shop. And if you want to have a look, it's Prasklo.com. And yeah, also important partner, it's media. They are happy that media are interested in us. Also, like a nice one, like we had a small thing in Vogue, in the Czech Vogue. There was a Czech television making like a 5-minute spot about us, and other like a quite good quality magazines in the Czech Republic. So again, we are very happy. This trending, just going to shortly tell you what's new, because we don't want to stop where we are. Petra is still bringing new ideas. We are still discussing new ideas. We don't want to, just freeze in the moment. So currently, Petra is experimenting with the colors in the concrete, especially this black concrete we like very much. Or we go a little bit more again, like statues, art, not so much just vases. It's a lot of experimenting, but we like a lot. Not everything is 100% success, but I think in order to like what we do, we need to play, we need to keep discovering, and we need to sort of entertain ourselves in the first place. And this I show you just shortly, because it's still secret, yes, we still don't have it patented. But our next future project is Petra created a prototype for a coffee maker from concrete, and we still are dealing with lawyers to have it patented, so then we can show it to you. And that might be our first little bit like mass production, that will be already like a real production. And the last thing, just to mention from our activities and projects, is our latest project that was very much about sustainability, because we work with cement and sand, like concrete is made of cement, and we like to get inspired by the materials. It's very important for us, like as I told you about the recycled concrete. So the other idea was, because we like to go to the ocean, we like beaches, and like everybody else, we always get disappointed how the beaches these days are very dirty. and there's this big plastics and small microplastics. And we were thinking, like, we can use this small microplastic as something actually nice because it's colorful. And there you have yellow pieces, you have green pieces, you have all these sort of things. So we did a project where we were driving along the coast, European coast, and picking this dirty sand and using it for the concrete, and actually using these colors and shapes of the plastic that's present in the sand as something that should be actually nice because it's colorful, so it's not just pouring grey concrete as colors. And at the same time, of course, it's not just about being happy about plastic on the beaches. It's more like to show like the problem that there is. Like it used to be, you go to the beach and you bring home the shells and this stuff, and go, look how beautiful beach. And these days you go, look, all the plastic on the beach. So that's our latest project, which we haven't finalized yet. The bases are not done yet. They are still like we are finalizing them. But just very few pictures from what it was like just working with the plastic that we collected. This is where we stayed. It was a little bit low budget, sorry. And this is how we worked at the spot. We did a little bit studio over there, so we could create some pieces straight in the spot, using even like a glass vase that we collected in the same spot. And so the vases will have names according to the place where we collected the materials. This is the website if you're interested. You can find more. And there was one more slide, and then disappeared. There was an important slide, and it disappeared. Last slide disappeared. No, I can just. No, it's okay. I just say the last slide was thank you to the organizers, and especially we have a duty to thank to Czech Center to send us here. So. Thank you for your attention.
You're welcome. And you didn't say what Prasklo means.
Yeah, we can say what Prasklo means. Prasklo means it's actually very funny, but only for those who speak Czech, because Prasklo means two things. It means either it cracked, because as Petra is working with the glass, she cracks it, and sometimes it cracks too much, but then she likes to use the shape of the crack as a part of the aesthetics. It's one thing that means, but also another meaning of this word can be like ancient glass, like ancient glass. Like for example, when you dig it somewhere, like archaeologist. And so there's like the secondary, like the second valid meaning that we like the glass, as the ancient material sort of thing. So yeah. So pity we can't translate it to English, so we put it in Czech, and it's a little bit mystery, but it's fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Afterwards, you will join us again for the discussion. But now I have the pleasure to give the floor to Katalin Huszar, who is from Hungary. Hopefully I pronounced the name right. She describes herself as a CMF designer. I had to check the word when I received your CV, and it means you work with colors, with materials, and with finishes. And this is a very, for me, also a new perspective on design. But as far as I understood, you are experimenting quite a lot with materials and also with colors. At the moment, you are working in Barcelona for the automotive industry, so this is a quite nice combination. And actually, she's participating in the exhibition that you can see on the opposite of the building with a project called Not Just Use Less. And I fell in love with this project last year when I read about it because it's really nice, and it's about straws that she gathers in different districts. I think it started in Portugal, and then she creates installations with it, and the result is really beautiful, and it shows how we can use again things that we make as garbage. So Katalin, here you are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot. Good evening, everybody.
I just want to make sure that the video is
Yes, actually I'm gonna start with the video, so just to interrupt directly with the video.
Can you play?
Do we have the courage to face the realities of our time and allow ourselves to feel deeply enough that it transforms us and our future? Come with me on a journey through the eye of beauty. Across an ocean of grief. And beyond.
In 2017, I had my thesis defense on sustainability. Now, 5 years later, and perhaps with more knowledge about this topic, I feel I don't know anything about the word sustainability. So, my name is Katalin Huszar, and today I'm going to introduce you myself through some of my design work. To reflect on the Midway movie that we just seen, let me start with my diploma project called Not Just Useless. Not Just Useless is an eco-design initiative collecting and reusing plastic straws to raise awareness of excessive consumer waste. I have to admit that Although my main purpose was to reflect on consumer society and forward the message to us as a consumers, but recycling was not my main purpose in the beginning. The story started with me experimenting with several materials such as drinking straws, plastic mesh, plastic spoons, materials that I found around me. And I especially like the ability to change their original textures and looks. I enjoyed how the texture of the textile became waterproof or flexible by adding elastic piece on it or layering the straws on each other. I actually received new tones. But only a year later, while I was visiting Portugal with some friends, I saw how the streets were full littered with plastic cups. And this is a party water in Bairro Alto. I heard that you actually have similar problems in Sofia, and I guess everywhere. Party waters are like this huge amount of plastics are thrown away. And it's ending lately on our landfills and became a potential food of a seabird, for instance. So this time, I thought it would be nice to give a frame actually to the project because the materials I use every day are waste anyways, so it would be nice to find a way to recycle them. So the original idea was to place collector boxes in cafe place restaurants where many drinking straws are discarded and let designers create new objects, installations or materials from them. Ideally, these materials would go back to the place where the straws were amassed in the form of a space divider, a tablecloth, a curtain, or really anything that can be made from this material. So just to show you the process of how these materials are made, I'm gonna show you another video. Always, when I speak about this project, I cannot emphasize that I didn't want to save the world. We are in the Hungary Museum, so... So I mean, of course I want to save the world, everybody wants that. I don't state that this project is going to save the problem of single-use plastics. It might make people think about how seemingly trivial problems can also cause huge problems in our world. Last time I was actually invited to speak about my material experiments, and I tell you, I felt guilty speaking about plastic recycling between all the other speakers who were introducing their beautiful natural materials from bio-waste. Recycling plastic is getting out of fashion, I thought. But then a friend of mine, who was also attending to the event, he told me he actually doesn't get the point of putting a lot of time, energy and electricity of creating something that would degrade anyways easily, like biomaterials. And this point really stuck in my mind. So which is actually more sustainable? Creating something from bio-waste that would slip away easily, or realizing that we mess up things by using plastics and try to create something from them to avoid to end those materials on the landfills. From the not-just useless material, the East Chair concept was born in cooperation with Meshkin Zayevdi and David Raffay, a car designer. And the idea was to create MDF kind of materials from the not-just useless. Those are such as strong as MDF and lightweight, much lightweight, 10 times lightweight than MDF panels. And the idea was to create a modular chair that you can easily disassemble when you don't need it. So you can place it on your wall and have it as a decoration. It's good for tiny houses, kindergartens, yacht interiors, or small flats, for example. Just to introduce you something completely different, I brought you today Alchemy, which is a kind of new collection. It examines the natural phenomenon crystallization, and some contemporary jewelry pieces are going to be made from this material. The main ingredients of these jewelries are going to be raw materials such as coffee, salicylic acid, vitamin C, and the result can be super fluffy or crispy depending on the crystal that was used for the pieces. It also reflects on, actually it's going against the words perfectionism and mass production, and it examines how human intervention and the beauty of random greatness of nature can meet together. When I spoke with Bojana, she actually recommended me to speak a little bit about what I do now for living. And I'm lucky enough to say that today I live from my design work, but I tell you it was not always like this. So I did many kind of jobs. I even made a shirt saying fake it till you make it, because that's some topic that many designers don't speak about, but it's true that you need to struggle a lot to become a designer living from it. So I do CMF design, as Bojana said. It's everything which has to do with colors, materials and finishes. Can it be in an interior of a car, or on a product, or on a jewelry, basically everywhere. Even you do color, material and finish on your vases, I believe. And well, I do it in the automotive industry. That's a big contrast, isn't it? Cars and sustainability. Well, I told you in the beginning that I feel less and less about sustainability. Actually, as Katie Kubrick said, she is also a CMF designer researching sustainability in CMF design. Sustainability cannot be designed backwards, so it's important to do research on how those materials are produced, where the materials are coming from. So that's also important for the green mindset. And maybe storytelling I would add, because an engaging storytelling can make a connection between consumers and the products. And just think about it, for example, family pieces, jewelries, that you would rather keep it to your children than throwing it away. So as a closure, which is not here,
The last slide.
yeah, last lights are disappearing. But the closure would have been RV, and I'm not only speaking about we as designers, but we people living in a linear or in a circular way. And I also want to thank you for everybody to be here. It's super nice for the Hungarian Fashion and Design Agency, for the Hungarian Cultural Institution, for Studio Komplekt, and let's continue, I guess, with the discussion.
Thank you so much. I would like to invite you in a maybe non-formal,
Yes, we can sit here.
we can sit here. I just want to place our slide. I don't know what happened to the